there. Here's your orthogonal drawing, and I'm going to give you some instructions on how you can actually trace this drawing that you've actually scanned. So the first thing is I've actually imported your file, or actually what I've done to put it into Illustrator is I've gone File, Place. So that's always a really good way to bring files into Illustrator. Next thing I want to do is, as we talked about earlier on today, is to stop it from moving around while I try and trace it, is I'm going to lock it to the desktop. So we go to Object, Lock and Selection. Next thing is, no matter how good your eyes are, zoom in, because you'll always do a much better job. Now I know we already drew this red circle today, but I'm actually going to draw it again in a different colour so that I can sort of work through this and show you what I'm doing. So first of all, we'll go over here. So this is where I found my round tool. Don't use the round rectangle tool, but rather use the ellipse. The fill's on. I'll leave it there for the moment to show you what happens, because I do want to turn it off. But if I was to draw some ellipses now, can you see, because the fill's on, it covers everything and I can't see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is turn that fill off by clicking like this. Next thing, so that you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to choose another colour. This time we might go a green, or actually we might go a blue, because I think you can see that better, can't you? Alright, so the first thing I want to do is, as I showed you today, is just using this tool, I can actually put this on here, like so. So that can be my circle there, or my ellipse there. Now, if for some reason I wanted to get this just right, because maybe I wanted this to come up, this line to actually come up where your black line is, you can actually do that. So by going to your pen tool and going to the menu here, we can actually add in a few more anchor points, like so. And then this is the select tool, but this is the direct selection tool, which is the one I want. I can actually double click on that anchor point and I can actually raise it. I'll just zoom in a bit more so you can see what I'm talking about. And I can actually raise it or shift it so I can actually trace this exactly. But I'm not sure that was a rough sketch of yours, which I think it was, and you probably don't really want it like that. I'm thinking you want it to be a perfect circle. So I'll just take that back, but still that was important information to share with you. Now, moving forward, I'm going to go back to my pen tool, and I'm going to use the pen tool like this. And I think what I'll do now is just go ahead and I'm going to draw myself in a really nice straight shape. And you know what else is really good? Is, can you see the pink horizontal line? That's because I've got my guides on, my smart guides on, so I can actually line it up like this. Can you see that? So that's because I've got my smart guides on, and I will show you how to turn that on in a sec. And now I've got it quite perfect. And the same thing here as well. If you want this to line up perfectly, look what you can actually do. So I'm just going to keep going, and we have it lined up. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now, good news is, if you want this next diamond shape to be the same as this, just smaller, what I would do is select it, and then I'm just going to go Command C and Command V, and then I'm going to just shrink it down. So there's nothing wrong with cheating. You'll also notice that the line thickness got a bit smaller. Did you notice that? Notice that that's thinner and that's thicker? Well, if we're just going to go to stroke, now if you don't have stroke on your computer screen, you go to Window and stroke is just down here. And so what we can actually do is, at the moment, this one here, just go here, we might make this one here 0.35, and we'll make this one here as well 0.35. So be aware that you can do that as well. Now that you've got that, my next thing I probably jump in and do is this one here. So we can actually do something like this, and then we'll get another one and do that. Now I do have a funny feeling this time maybe you do want those to be curved. Well, let's make them curved. I'm going to zoom in. All right, I'm going to select that line, and actually I think they've gone and got themselves connected at this point. That doesn't matter. Now I'm going to go back to here, and what I want to do is add anchor point. I'm going to pop one here, and I'm going to pop one there. Now I'm going to go back here to my direct selection tool. And then I'm going to grab this little anchor, this little doodah, bring it here, grab this little one and bring it here as well. So I'm getting my curve, it's just that it's a very geometric looking curve, a very angular. So what I can actually do, Seb, is while that line there is still selected, I'm going to go over to this funny looking tool here, the shaper. Hold down the menu and I want the smooth tool. Okay, now that's deselected itself, so I'm just going to go back and select it again, select my smoother tool, and I can actually smooth this out and get a really nice looking curve. Can you see what it's doing? And if I'm still not happy with that, that's gone a bit bumpy, I can then go back to this little direct selection tool and click on it and see it's got handlebars now. Can you see those handlebars? See what it does? Just take that back again. So I can actually make it quite precise in the shape that I want. Zooming out again, so I'm well and truly on my way. All right, now that's the same thing. What I've done there, if this is meant to be more curved, you can do the same thing here, Seb, with this. All right, add in a point like this, okay? Double click on it, the anchor, and bring it out. Then, as you can see, it's quite angular. Go to your smooth tool and you can smooth it. But I'm not sure, like I said, whether I'm reading your drawing incorrectly. Last but not least is you've got this shape here. Now you can actually be really cheeky with that, and we can just use a straight rectangle tool and we can do something like this. Okay, can you see that? Now what I want to do though is I want to get rid of some of these lines because you don't want all of that, do you? Okay, so we'll just bring that back again. So what I'm going to do here now, it's mainly this part here that you don't want. So what I'm going to do, Seb, to break this line off, now stay with me, just zoom in a bit, go over here. I'm going to go back and put in an anchor point here, an anchor point here, and one in the middle. I actually don't do the middle because it's trying to get onto this diamond shape. Put one there. All right, mate. Direct selection tool, double click on this, hit delete. And now I can hit delete and I can hit delete. So Seb, I hope that is going to help you out to move forward. In regards to this little bit here in the middle, to be honest, what I would now do is grab all of this, group it, and then just move it out of the way for the moment, because as we try and do all of these, I think you're going to find that as you're drawing these lines, they're going to want to lock onto absolutely everything, and it'll probably get a little bit crazy. So I would actually work on these lines over here. Let's move over. Work on these separately. So again, what I would do is just go back to my pen tool. Now I need to know, are these meant to be curved or are they meant to be straight? If they're meant to be straight, it's just going to be really easy work like this. And again, it's a very thick line. Oh, actually, it's the same, so that's fine. So you can just literally, Seb, work on it like so. Your center point there where everything's crossing will end up being a bit different. Now, if they're curved, then that's a different story, isn't it? So let's find out what you've got to do if they're curved. First of all, let's take this one because we know that that one is straight, don't we? Then what you can actually do is using, see this curve tool here? And you can start and you can just make your way like, whoa, sorry. Just do that again. You can make your way. So rather than trying to click, I would actually avoid clicking on this because it was wanting to join there. Go over it. And there you go. So using that nice curve tool, and then this one here, again, avoid clicking on this line because it'll probably want to connect over there. Bring that around like so. So, Seb, I hope that helps you out. Once you've done all of that, I'll then show you in class how we can make sure that all of this lines up with this.